Readathons. How are we tonight? I had some time to stream, so I figured I'd stream. It's probably going to be a little bit less, though. And no one's here, so it doesn't even matter that I'm saying this. Alright, mostly for myself friends. To test it to hear if it sounds okay. How are we tonight? I had some time to stream, so why doesn't it sound right? I figured I'd stream. Is probably going to be a little bit less, though. And no one's here, so it doesn't even matter that I'm saying this. Mostly for myself to test it to hear. Is this better, maybe? No, it doesn't. Why doesn't it sound right? That's so weird. Let me try this. Is this better, maybe? That's so weird. Okay, let me try this. Would have fixed it. Very weird. I don't know why it's not working. Oh, maybe this will help? I think that might have been messing with it. Okay. I think the audio might sound better now. It's still just not very loud though, so I'm so sorry if you're having to blast your thing in order to hear me. But I think it's the best I can make it. I'll just try to remember to speak up. Okay. Hi, Elizabeth. Okay, hopefully you can hear me okay. I feel like I've had to put my thing pretty loud in order for it to in order for it to sound okay, but anyway. I feel like it's good enough. Surely it is. Okay. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining today. Okay, sorry. I feel like I'm all befuddled because of the audio issue now. Okay. Move on. So Readathons. It's currently the Trans Rights Readathon, which is obviously very near and dear to my heart. And I haven't really been reading super a lot recently, but obviously when that started, I was like, well, I have to participate. And then they encourage you to donate. Like, the most important thing is also like donating to organizations and trans people and stuff. So I'm gonna try to give some money to Trans Lifeline as well at the end of the readathon, and I think I'm gonna do like a double whammy because every year there's a creator that I really like. Oh gosh. I'm trying to say a floss tube creator, and that is so wrong. Cross stitch creator, a designer, and every year she does charity design for Trans Lifeline, which is incredible. I think it would take maybe a bit to scroll back and find the previous ones, because she does release so many designs in a year. But she does release a lot of like support for trans people. And yeah, she does a charity design every year. So like last year, the one from last year was actually this cuttlefish for Transgender Day of Visibility. And the one from the year before was this moth. And last year they raised like $3,500, which is incredible. I love that. So I think I'm gonna wait, and then for that like little weekend I'll donate, and then I'll also be able to I'll get whatever chart she hasn't released it yet, but she's been sneak peeking it on her Patreon, which I'm a free member of right now, although I've subscribed in the past. So anyway, that's kind of my idea, is that I'll give a donation, and then I'm planning on donating to Trans Lifeline, obviously, because I think they do really important work. If you don't know what Trans Lifeline is, they you know how there's like a suicide hotline? Instead of that, because especially at the beginning of the like a year ago, Trump took away like the ability for trans people to call like the suicide hotline, which is 988. So not great, especially for specific like, it's not, yeah. So let's not even go there. And so Trans Lifeline is like an organization that you can call and then talk to a trans person. And even I think you can even call them if you are like have trans people in your life and stuff like that. So yeah, really great organization, and just good to be able to talk to people. So anyway, sorry for the long spiel, but if you're looking for an organization to donate to for Transgender Day of Visibility, which is on the 31st, I believe, of March, you can do that. And I'll be getting a fun cross-stitch pattern out of it. And also, I've been reading some books about transgender people. So I've only read one so far, so I'll start with that, I guess. I read Leech. Oh, is it with an A? I don't even know how to spell. But no, it's not. Okay. I'm like, how do you spell Leech? Okay, so I read Leech by Hiron Ennis. And I really liked it. I'm surprised the average rating is so low. What the hell, you guys? I want to see the breakdown of the ratings, because didn't they used to let you see that breakdown? Yeah, oh, yeah, it's right here, dumbass. Yeah, I guess it has a good amount of 3, 4, and 5, but 11% 2 stars. I really liked this one. So it's like a hive mind book, and it's about this doctor who, ooh, your book club mostly just liked it, what the heck. Hi Liz. I'm like, I don't want to over explain it. I'm like, I don't want to say too much. Like, I do know how to explain it. I've been talking to my husband about it a lot the last couple days because I've been very into it. I have a lot to say about it, but I don't want to say too much about like about anything with it, because it's I didn't know a whole lot going into it, and I just really fell in love with it. I think overall my rating is going to be 4 stars. Um, but I'll talk about that in a second. Um, so it's about this hive mind, and they kind of lost connection with one of the people in the hive mind, and they died, and so then a new person is going to like replace them. So the beginning is like a little bit of like a murder mystery, and it's this like post apocalyptic future where like society is kind of rebuilt, and it kind of has this like gothic vibe, and I was just very into it. I really, really loved like the atmosphere and everything of the first half, and then I feel like that was kind of lost more in the second half. But I was still very absorbed throughout the whole thing, and it's like a fairly long book. It's 323 pages, so ignore me. But I think the audiobook was like 12 hours maybe, so a little bit on long. I mean, I know that's average, but I tend to read shorter books. Like I'm reading one right now that's 4 hours long, so a bit on the longer side, and I read it in like 2 days. I couldn't put it down. And so first book of the Trans Rights Readathon, really, really liked it, had such a great time with it. And I'm gonna try to pick up this author. That's not what I wanted to click. I'm gonna try to pick up this author's other book, which is The Works of Vermin. Although, it has a really high rating. Although I'm scared. Anyway. Am I gonna try to pursue one of the higher callings or just have fun with the prompts? I was thinking of doing something kind of silly. So I don't know. It was like, what if you just tried to do all of them at once? Like I do, you know? Like what if you just like picked your prompts and did everything, and then just see like where they fit, and then just like slowly built them up over the next like 3 or 4 readathons. Would that be really, really silly? Probably, but I was thinking of maybe seeing how that went. I kind of want to just chip away at all of them. I know that's ridiculous, but for the Aurelium Spring Equinox, which I'm going to be talking about in a second as well. And yeah, I really liked Leech. So that's the only book I've read for the Trans Rights Readathon. My next book is Your Shadow. Your Shadow Half Remains by Sunny Moraine. Oh, I didn't even have this on my... I had it on my mental TBR, but I didn't actually ever put it on my physical TBR, or my Goodreads TBR, apparently. But if you've ever... I guess now I can say if you've ever watched The Last of Us, but also... if you ever played The Last of Us, it kind of starts like the beginning of that one. I don't really like watch a lot of post-apocalyptic stuff, or I haven't read a lot of apocalyptic stuff either, so I don't have a lot of touch point of like recommendations, but it kind of starts the beginning of that one where it's like all of a sudden people just start going absolutely insane in the streets and start like killing each other. But instead of like a mushroom virus making each other, like mushrooms making each other do that, not a virus, but mushrooms making each other do that, like in The Last of Us, it's people looking at each other. And so it's following this character who hasn't looked at anybody in years. Society is kind of rebuilt, but everything is like running off of like robots and droids and stuff like that. And then she's like very isolated, living kind of in this like beach community, or not beach, like, but retirement community, and there's been no one around her for a long time, and then someone moves into one of the houses near her. And so I think it's going to be about them getting to know each other, but yeah, dystopic, post-apocalyptic, and it's kind of switching back every other chapter, between the beginning of the actual apocalypse and like the now. So anyway, that's what I'm currently reading. I'm like less than a quarter in, but oh, this has such bad ratings. Spread Me, I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. Why does everybody hate this book? I love Sarah Gailey. Sarah Gailey's the creme de la creme. Anyway, so I'm excited to keep reading this. Okay, so that's it for the Readathon so far. I don't even know if I want to go over what I have read since the last video, because it's been so few. Maybe like 2 or 3 books. And I think like most of them are rereads. So I think maybe I just want to do some planning, and then we'll see what we have time for. Okay, so I'm obviously going to plan books for all the prompts, because that's what I do. I'm just an overachiever. What can I say? And I did already kind of start a couple days ago when the video came out, but I didn't do much. Just a couple. So for wolves, I just looked up books that had wolf in the title, and Hunger Makes the Wolf was one of the only ones I had. And The Witch Boy has something that looks like a wolf on the cover, and At Midnight has a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood in it. So, oh, hi Mel, how are you? I've been surviving. Not great, but hanging in there. I appreciate it. I hope you're doing better than me. So I'm just threw the backup options in there, but Hunger Makes the Wolf also would fit for the Trans Rates Readathon. I think so. I think a lot of the things that would work, it will be kind of be nice, because I can kind of continue the vibe of the Trans Rights Readathon into, you know, the rest of April. But then these are kind of some backups that I saw. I literally looked up every day of the week in my Goodreads, and these are the only 2 books. So Friday Black is the one that I'm interested in reading more. I'm gonna butcher this name, but by Nana Kwame Adjei Brenya? I feel like it was probably pretty close, but I said it very stilted. Short stories that are horror science fiction. I've just heard really, really good things about it. I mean, you can see with 19,000 ratings and a 4-star, for a short story collection, I feel like that's pretty freaking good. And it appeals to fans of Colson Whitehead, Marlon James, and George Saunders. 3 authors that I have not read before. So, but I've heard really good things about it, and the vibes of like the horror, science fiction, fantasy, dystopia. I am in such a dystopia phase right now. I'm in a very much like a post apocalyptic phase. So like not post apocalyptic, but like after the post apocalyptic, where like society is kind of rebuilt and stuff. I After I read Leech, because that's kind of what Leech is. I wanted to look. I wanted to read out what Hiron says about themselves for their writing styles. So they said that they're post apocalyptic, soft sci-fi, gothic body horror. And I think that is like such a perfect description for the style of their books, of at least of Leech. So I after I finished it, I heard that like that phrase, the post apocalyptic, I was like, yes, and I loved that vibe so much. Because they have a lot of the same technology, but also they've lost some of the technology, but also they're not like in crisis anymore, and things have rebuilt and are back to normal. And anyway, I was looking that up, and the first thing that came up was Fallout, where that's like one of the best examples of a post apocalyptic society. And I was like, literally 2 days ago, or like the day before, I had looked that up and finished that. And I had started watching Fallout with my husband. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm already exploring this. That's going to be so fun. That is the vibe that I'm seeking, and I'm already watching it. And now we're 4 episodes into Fallout, I think, or 6. I'm not quite sure. I don't really remember off the top of my head, but I'm really, really enjoying it so far. And I think we're 4 episodes in. We'll watch a couple more tonight. Really, really liking it. And it's really making me wanting to reread Wool, though. And so, if you see me reread Wool soon, it's because I watched Fallout. Okay. So, okay. And then also, I've been watching a lot of people play Pokopia, which, if you don't know, is I'm sure most of you know, because y'all are a bunch of nerds. Ah. It's a Pokemon game that just came out, and it is also like a post-apocalyptic, soft, cozy game. Cause like all the humans have disappeared, and it's like the Pokemon are rebuilding Earth, and you start out in this like dystopic dead wasteland. I don't know if there's gonna be any like pictures right here at the beginning section. Oh yeah, right here. But you start out and your world looks like no. Oh, well, I guess that works. Your world starts like this, where everything's destroyed, the few buildings that remain are crumbled and fallen apart, and everything is dead, and then you bring the world back to life. And so I don't know, just been in this vibe recently. And then I started another apocalyptic book with the Your Shadow Half Remains. So anyway, okay, let's move on. Sorry, I could ramble forever. The other book that I did as a backup was Mr. Monday by Garth Nix. I never read any of the books in this series, and now I feel like I have kind of a mental block around them. Even though I love Garth Nix, I kind of have a mental block around them because my brother who passed away, like, I don't know, over 15 years ago, when he was doing some trucking work, I lent them to him because I owned them, and I lent them to him to read when he was on the road, and he really, really loved them. So then I tie them to him reading them and then recommending my own books back to me. And so now I feel like I can't read them because I don't know. I just have like this like mental thing. But then I should read them because I think I'm scared that I'll start reading it and then I won't like it and then I'll be like letting down my brother. So I need to get over that and just give them a try. And then The Slow Times Between the Stars is a short story. It's only 30 pages, but I really love most of John Scalzi's things, except for the Old Man's War series. The Old Man War is the only thing that I haven't enjoyed by him. So that I've like actively disliked by him, to be honest. So I just thought this would be a nice little gimme to read this really short story. But other options are The Time Machine and The Time Traveler's Guide to Medieval England. And those are my vibes so far for the readathon. Okay, so for a readathon, honestly, it could be so many things, except for so far this year, I've already reread Pride and Prejudice. I've already reread A Room with a View. I already reread Dealing with Dragons. So I'm already on my reread kick. So I'll find something to reread, but I don't really have a specific thing in mind, and I kind of want to wait like another week to kind of see what mood I'll be in. Unusual formatting. I'm genuinely not sure what I want to do. The first thing that kind of comes to mind is oh gosh, what is it called? Oh, no, I can't think of it. It's in the other room. Let me grab it. Let me just grab it instead of hurting my brain. So, Code Regenesis. 5 Fables of Magic Misused by H.M. Bastel. Okay. So, I've been following this creator online for quite a while. So when they released a book, I was very excited to buy it because I follow them as an artist. And it is stories, but there's like puzzles throughout and stuff. So like fold outs. don't rip it. Okay. Like these pages in the center fold out. Like what are some more? There's so many throughout. Like this page is black and just has a few words on it. And the point is that you read through it very carefully. Oh, this one's cool. It's like this castle thing, but it's like not attached to the page. Anyway, very interesting. That you read through it and then at the end you have to pay attention and like choose these things, and then there's like a puzzle thing at the back that you get to open. Very interesting formatting, and this is like the first thing that comes to mind. Since I asked for it for Christmas, I feel like I should probably prioritize it. Plus, did I even add it to my Goodreads? Ah! Why did it not come up? There we go. I didn't. It's so beautiful. And unlock the secrets of a mystical tome through gorgeous illustrations, clever paper mechanics, and a mysterious story. This interactive book will keep you and your friends immersed for hours. I really recommend following her on, or following them on, maybe they post their content on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram, but I follow them on TikTok, and they just post like such incredible art I really, really enjoy. But I think that would be a good thing to try to get through. I don't know if anybody has any other. I think it would be good to have a backup, but other unusual formatting. But maybe I don't need it. I don't know if anything else comes to mind of like something I've been very piqued to read recently. Okay. And top shelf. I think I'll come back to this one. I think I might take the physical interpretation of this and choose a book off the highest shelf, and I forgot to take a picture of that. Okay, first enticing book you see on social media. Well, let's take a look scrolling through Goodreads. Slow Gods by Claire North. Who's Claire North again? Sounds familiar. Oh, The First 15 Lives of Harry August. Ugh, remember when that book was everywhere? I remember when I started BookTube, that book was so popular. I don't know. I'm usually interested in whatever Rachel's reading. I really enjoy Kalinati's Rex. I'm a very poor copy of myself. Slow Gods is the galaxy-spanning tale of one man's impossible life charted against the fate of humanity amongst the stars. A powerfully imaginative space opera from multi-award-winning author Claire North. In telling my story, there are certain things I should perhaps lie about. I should make myself a hero, pretend I was not used to strangers and gods, did not leave people behind. Here is one out there in deep space. In the pilot's chair, I died, and then I was reborn. I became something not quite human, something that could speak into the infinite dark, and I vowed to become the scourge of the world that went wrong to me. Sound a little bit too high concept for me. Okay. Mason Deaver. I've read a book by him before. I've read a book by them before. I read I Wish You All the Best, and I gave it 4 stars. I did like it. Wasn't quite like, I don't know. I just don't read a lot of YA anymore. I think I read it too old, but I did like it. Oh, this book isn't out till August, though. Okay. Ah, dead fish. Okay. Okay, well, I already have this one marked, incidents around the house. So this has probably got to be it, since the first one on my actual TBR. I don't know if I'm in the mood for a horror, though. A chilling horror novel about a haunting told from the perspective of a young girl whose troubled family is targeted by an entity she calls Other Mommy. Ugh. To 8-year-old Bella, her family is her world. There's Mommy, Daddo, and Grandma Ruth. But then there's also Other Mommy. I don't want to take it off my TBR but I don't think I want to read that right now. Empire of Things. I feel like a book like this, even though it only came out in 2016, is probably really dated. Because I feel like the way people consume in 2016 versus 2026 has changed a lot, with, like, for the worse, obviously. Definitely massive overconsumption. We are killing our planet. Please. Yes! Hemlock and Silver. It says I'm currently reading it, but that's a lie. I put it on currently reading to kind of trick myself into starting it, and I never did. This is the book I'm reading. Okay, I really, really want to read this. Okay. House on cover. What would I want to read for the house on the cover? Oh, who knows? Should I just scroll through my want to read? Oh, Born Wicked. I never actually took a screenshot of how far I got into it, but I did try to read it, and I have gotten rid of it and its sequels that I owned. So I'm just gonna delete this. But I was kind of waiting to do it for on here. Okay, maybe I'll pull up some books that I'm very much wanting to read. But maybe they won't. I don't know if they'll fit into any prompts. I don't know if any of these count as houses. I kind of do want to read Vengeful. Thistlefoot. I've been wanting to read Thistlefoot. That's most certainly a house. Maybe I'll put that on there. Maybe it will change in the future, but for now I'm going to put Thistlefoot. I can't believe I haven't read this yet. Okay. A temperature word on the cover. Okay. So let's just start searching some and see what comes up. So let's start with cold. I wouldn't mind rereading The Cold in Her Bones at some point. I really, really liked it. Cold Comfort Farm. Ooh, I do really want to read that. And it's one of the oldest books on my TBR. And I want to read it in the spring and summer. And it is now the spring. You know what? I'm just going to go straight with that. Maybe I'll go try to find a backup later, but that was the easiest thing ever. Currently on a bestseller list. Now, I think that's a lot trickier. Because I'm probably not interested in something like the New York Times bestsellers or anything like that. But, maybe something like an indie bookstore's bestseller list. I was actually planning to early next week go to an indie bookstore near me, so maybe I'll try to look and see if they have something with the bestseller list. Also, I know that there's a bookstore called, I think it's called the Silver Unicorn. It was in Massachusetts, and I think they were really good at posting their bestseller list every week. So let me see. And that might have changed. Yeah, so they haven't done one for March, but Silver Unicorn Bestsellers, February 2026. All right, this is very helpful. Okay, The Correspondent, Theo the Golden, Ready or Not, The Council of Athidsid, Operation Bounce House, Heated Rivalry, Project Hail Mary, Vigil, Dungeon Crawler, Carl, Lucky Girl. I think maybe what I'll do is like I said, I'll check out that bookstore, and then I'll also, oh, this wasn't posted till March 8th, though. I'll check out that bookstore, and then I'll also check this at the beginning of April and see if I can find a book that I want on, like, the April list as well. I don't know what Theo of Golden is. I've never heard of this book. It's from Oh, no, there's a new edition. Okay. I was like, why is this old ass book on the bestseller list? Of course, it's just a literary fiction. Please, why are you not loading? Oh. Oh, yeah, that's what Operation Bounce House is. I'm like, I know I've heard that name, but I'm not interested in this at all. Okay. Yeah, no. I think Max in the Land of Lies is by a trans author. Maybe I'll just read Night Owl. The Library in the Woods. I'm like, maybe I'll just cheat and find a picture book to read. Ooh. Yeah, because nothing on this list sounds interesting. But, I mean, obviously I could do more digging and find another book. But I think I'm going to wait for their next months and see if that helps. I feel like they used to post weekly stacks, but not anymore, I guess. New releases. Okay. An event list. Okay. Alright, let's give up on that. I roll a d6 for a series and then also flip a coin. Let me go get those two things. A d6 and a coin. Ugh. Okay, back with my accoutrement. This is a household where I was more certain where a d6 would be versus a coin. And the d6 of choice is just a black one with gold, because I just dug in a box until I felt a d6 and I pulled it out because I have all my dice sets mixed together. So let's start with the d6 one. 4. Okay. So I'm just going to edit this prompt and add 4 so I remember. Thankfully, I do have I could get rid of this at the top. Okay. I do have a series tracker that lets me know how far into each book I am. So these are the number of books read. So anything that I've read 3 is eligible. Okay, these are our options. Lord Peter Wimsey books, The Circle of Magic by Tamara Pierce, The Wild Winchesters, The Graceling Realms. Yeah, sorry. Heartstrikers by Rachel Aaron, Hidden Legacy by Iana Andrews, The Questionnaires by Andrea Beatty, A Below Stairs Mystery by Jennifer Ashley, Nevermore by Jessica Townsend, Flavia DeLuce by Ellen Bradley, and Discworld by Terry Pratchett. Okay, the problem with some of these is that I kind of want to reread some of them before I continue with the series. And I skipped this one at the bottom, The Investigations of Mosa and Plady, because the next book is not out yet. If I'm just going off of what sounds the best, I think I would want to read the next Lord Peter Wimsey book, which would be The Unpleasantness at the Belladonna Club. So I think that's what I'll throw on there for book 4. But I think I'll also throw backup, which is Briar's book by Tamara Pierce, the 4th book in the Circle of Magic series. Because I also really want to read that. So there we go. Alright. The dystopia or utopia. This is my time. Because this is what I've been very much in the mood for. Obviously, I could throw Wool in here if I wanted to take myself up on that reread that I'm now interested after watching Fallout. Also, I did watch Silo, like maybe a year ago. I watched Silo, and I very much disliked it. So, I feel like watching Wool would also be a large redemption arc for that. And but yeah. But specifically, okay. So books about utopias, although I think a lot of them are actually dystopias, but so-called utopias. Brave New World, which I've never read. The Giver, I could continue in that series. I could read Utopia by Thomas More. Makes me always think of Ever After. The Dispossessed. Interesting. I think you can read this one on its own. Because people say to read like The Left Hand of Darkness out on its own and stuff as well. But interesting. Okay. 1984. I don't even have 1984 on my want to read list. I don't know how that slipped through the cracks. I do want to read this. I've been thinking about reading 1984 because I never have, and I think it feels very apropos. So, I definitely want to throw that on my strong maybes. Or my top priority. Oh, I didn't put the one. Because that is one I've been specifically thinking about reading recently. Fahrenheit 451 is another one that I'm like, how have I not read this? I really want to read this. And I think it also falls into my like oldest books on my like Goodreads TBR. So, another good reason to read it. I finally read Animal Farm, so that's good. Last year. A Psalm for the Wild Bill, an actual utopia. I'm like, most of these are not utopias. Childhood's End. Oh, Parable of the Sower. Whew, that would be good to read. Okay. other utopias? Okay. No. I think... Okay, let's look at dystopia now. Forest on the Edge of Time. I like that title. Hmm. Boy with accidental dinosaur. What? Hellheart? Gideon the Ninth meets Moby Dick in USA Today's bestselling author Alexis Hall's science fiction debut, Hell's Heart. Earth is a ruin and the shattered remnants of humanity scavenge what they can from the stars under the watchful... I don't even know what that word is. What is that word? Auspices? A divine or prophetic token? Auspice? Under the watchful auspice of a grab bag of collectives, corporations, and churches. Which are all that remains of which we once called society. Of what we once called society. Why does this have such bad ratings? Yikes. Random women keep fingering her, and I can't be bothered reading info dumps about whales. Is a queer space opera retelling of Moby Dick. Oh, okay. PSA, this book is horny. Interesting. Everybody seems, well, most people, except for Jen, seem to really not like this book. With plenty of a sapphic sci-fi retelling of Moby Dick with plenty of gore, drama, smushing in space, and interstellar battles. Okay, I think let's just be good with where things are at. I'm moving on. I got so distracted. Okay. Ask for 5-star titles and pick one. I don't know if anybody's here, if anybody wants to recommend 5-star titles. Otherwise, I was thinking about asking one of my friends. I just have not done it yet. And then for flipping a coin, I have my coin here. Heads is under, tails is over. Ugh, I don't know how to flip a coin. I don't tend to do that on my daily day-to-day. Okay. It's a tales. Tales of the United States crossing the Delaware. Perfect. So I got over 400 pages, so I just need to find a longer book. And I don't think I really have to specify one because honestly, so many. But, well, this book I opened up was long, so I'm gonna throw that as an option. Vengeful, that I'm in the mood for. I think this one is short, yeah. Yeah, I think that's that. Okay. Okay. Books to reread. So I have been going through and trying to do rereads of the books that I've read longest ago that were 5 stars, and it's been with varying levels of success. Some have been like, oh yes, this is still a 5 star, I still really loved it, and some have been like DNFs. I just like really wasn't vibing with them. So let's see. The Island of Missing Trees. Why so slow? Stop it. Elizabeth, you were so ready. Please load. Okay. Did I? Do I know this author? There are rivers in the sky. I was like, this name sounds very familiar. Okay. Let's see. I don't think I know what this word means. Oh, okay. I mean, it isn't the kind of book I'd pick up on my own, but I'm not opposed to trying it. But I want to look up some of the other options. Imagine you recommend that and then, like, a bunch of books you think I'd hate, so that you're like, this is your only option. I'm just kidding. I know you wouldn't do that. You're like, this is the only one you get. Okay. I think I've seen this cover before. Oh yeah, I've definitely seen this cover before. I was like, I don't know where I would have seen it in the adult section, but in the young adult section, I definitely would have seen it. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of that one. I've never heard of this one. These are all historical fiction. What are you doing? Okay. You're trying to push me outside my comfort zone. I appreciate it. I don't know the last time I read just like a straight historical fiction. I know that first one isn't, though. It has some magical touches, which I appreciate. It makes me the most interested in it. Oof. This is something I've actually been thinking about, is trying to read more about Vietnam and the Vietnam War. Because it's definitely a blind spot in my knowledge. I've been learning about it a little bit, but not like super in depth such. So, and then I said such because I was reading Such a Fun Age, which I know what this one's about because it was so popular. Really, really. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I remember this. I just don't read contemporary fiction like ever. She started it. But I know so many people really loved that one. Oh, a thriller. I've never read Lucy Foley or Leanne Moriarty. feel like I've heard of um um I feel like I've maybe heard of this one, but then again, sometimes a bunch of thrillers look the same. Um okay. I think I am interested in the first one the most because it has like the magical twist. And I don't know if I can do straight fiction right now. Without something speculative. I I just speculative really helps me get through a book. I think that was all of them. Yeah. Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. It does sound good, and something that actually also sounds really interesting is it sounds if it's already in like the copy of the book in the like description, then I assume it's going to be in the book a lot. Is like the descriptions of, and he's a botanist, but the descriptions of the plants and stuff. I wonder how much that's going to be in there, because it's just making me think of like the of like perfumery and stuff, which is very interesting. Hmm. Okay. Yes, and this was probably the second most interesting to me, which is funny because you said like this is also the one that goes back and forth or whatever, but this does sound interesting. I think maybe because it's out of all of them, it sounds like it's maybe told the least conventionally. Is the vibe I pick up. Um, okay. I'm also gonna throw that one down. Nice. Thank you so much. That's so helpful. I. Oh, that's such a pretty cover. I like that. And I've been wanting to, yeah, read more Vietnam stuff. Okay. Um. And then a book over 400, a reread, top shelf, current list of bestsellers. For reread, Princess for a Ball is one of the oldest books that I haven't reread. Hey, exactly 10 years ago is when I read it last and gave it 5 stars. Although I did, okay, you will learn so much about trees. See, and that's I'm like, I do um, like a lot of my favorite like horror books are like science horror and stuff like that. Like I am more inclined when it's like a sciencey, naturey book and stuff. So I am interested in that. Princess Furball. I mean, I read it a ton growing up as a kid, but it's been 10 years and it's one of my favorites. So maybe I'll just do that one. Another little give me. And maybe Code Girls is another one that I haven't read for a long time that I'd like to reread soon. Okay. Did you see that they added a did not finish shelf? Can you believe it? I was so mad when I logged in and saw that. Like, have people not been begging for this for like almost 10 years? And they were like, no, we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. And they snubbed all those people and told them to absolutely fuck off. And were so rude to everyone. And then they just added it anyway. And it's like, fuck off. Goodreads. What a piece of shit. It's like everybody was begging for this on Twitter in 2017 and 2018. It's like you're almost 10 years late. Oh my god, Elizabeth. That is... I mean, I'm sure you found a lot of incredible books, though. For some reason, The Works of Vermin I thought was a novella, but it's long. It's 400 pages? I had no idea. Okay, books over 400 pages that sound good right off the bat that I know I've been wanting to read is Behind the Throne, which is sci-fi. It's been on my list for so long. Science fiction, space opera. And a Star Wars style science fiction adventure. Action-packed space opera exploits and courtly conspiracy, not to mention an all-out galactic war. Behind the Throne will please fans of James S.A. Corey, Becky Chambers, and Lois McMaster Bujoy. Bejeweled. And anyone who wonders what will happen if a rogue like Han Solo were handed the keys to the Empire. Anyway, been on my list for years. I know it says I only added it in 2023, but I've had this book on my list for so many years. Confounding Oaths would be great to read a sequel. And I feel like everything is pretty heavy, so there's a couple options. The DNF option is why you started using Storygraph. That is, yeah, I think that's why a lot of people started using Storygraph. And yeah, like, it genuinely made me so mad when I logged into Goodreads and saw that. I was like, why did you even add this? Because people have been asking for like a decade constantly, and you kept just saying, we're never gonna do that, we're never gonna do that, fuck off. And then they did it. And they non-consensually did it too. Like, I don't want it. Get that away from me. It's gonna stay at 0 forever, and it's just taking up clutter too, because I just mark them under red. I'm not gonna go back and change my 500 DNF'd books that I've marked. Like, what the hell? No. I'm so mad. Like, irrationally too angry about this. Anyway. So that's what I'm thinking for the spring equinox. I never finished my reread of Yotsuba, and it's been months now. I think I got to like number 12 or something. Oh, 13. I read number 13. So I still need to read number 14 and 15. I've never read number 15. And I don't think number 16 is out. Oh, fuck. Number 16 is out. Number 16 is out in English in May. So, I have time. Barely. So that would be a good goal, is to read number 14 this month, number 15, or number 14 in April, number 15 in May, and then try to get my hands on number 16 in June. It's been a fun reread. I enjoyed it, but some of the last books I didn't love as much. Some of them just have some icking to it. Some ickage going on. Just the way that they talk about this, like, teenage girl's body is very gross. Ooh. So, that's not my favorite, but I love most of the rest of the book. So, I don't know if Yotsuba is something I could fit in. This is everything left from my readathon, the fall one from last year. Not everything that I didn't get to, but just everything. I just copied everything over in case I wanted to pull stuff up. But I don't even know where I would fit. I guess this one could also fit. Yotsuba could fit for a reread, so maybe I'll do that. Number 14. What does Yotsuba mean again? I thought... It's like a compound word, I thought. Oh, it means four-leaf. Okay. Ugh, except for that's the AI. I don't know. But they do say it in the manga. Okay. I was like, is it related to spring or something? I couldn't remember. Okay, let's look at the advanced callings, the higher callings, because I haven't really looked at them too much, so I don't even know how anything I just pulled out would even fit into them. Okay, professorship. Subject criteria is nonfiction, read and annotate books from a recommendation list. Well, okay. 8,000 pages of that. I'm actually going to pull this over on my other monitor so I can see cross-reference. So none of these would be nonfiction. I don't annotate books typically unless I'm like reading it for like the 20th time. I very, 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 very rarely annotate. Books from a recommendation list. Technically, Hunger Makes the Wolf could count as books from a recommendation list because I got it off of a list for the Transrights Readathon a couple of years ago. Okay, thank you for that heads up. I guess it depends on how, like, yeah, how graphic and stuff it ends up being, because I just, there's a lot of, like, suicide and stuff in the book that I just started right now, the, like, novella dystopian. I don't know why I cannot keep the name in my head. The Shadow Half Remains, because people, yeah, a lot of people start killing themselves. And I've been feeling okay while reading it, so I do appreciate that. Hands up. But if it starts feeling too much, I might have to stop it. But that's good to know. Okay, so there's like one book that would maybe fit for this book off a recommendation list for Hunger Makes the Wolf. Okay, for mythology or mythologist, research requirements Subject criteria: retelling, mythology, word myth in the title, word legend in the title. Okay, so if I did go if I did go with Princess Furball, definitely like a little retelling. Also, if I went with some of my backups, they would count for the other one, like Time Traveler's Guide to Medieval England is a nonfiction. Code Girls is nonfiction, so some of my backups would count for other things. Mythology. Retelling and mythology. I'm not sure that Hemlock and Silver would count. I know some of hers are retellings, but I'm not sure if that one is. Thistlefoot, I think, would count. I think that would be the only ones. Spacetronaut. Science fiction, stars on the cover, word space in the title. Science fiction would be Hunger Makes the Wolf. No stars here. I would have to double check if some of these have stars on the cover. I think most of them do not. A Slow Time Between the Stars definitely has stars on the cover. And Behind the Throne is also sci-fi. I think I would get the most progress into this Spacetronaut just because I'm in such a sci-fi mood. Also 1984 would count as sci-fi, I think, because for me and my classification, sci-fi and dystopia are the same thing. Dystopia is a subclass of sci-fi. Friday Black would count as sci-fi. Slow Time Between the Stars, obviously. So, lots for that one. Demonic Correspondent. Subject criteria is horror, envelope or letter on the cover, red title, font, or horns on the cover. I just didn't know if one of these little symbols, because there's a ton of little symbols around here, if one of them was an envelope or letter. There's like a little book, but I don't think that would count. Okay. Horror. I don't know if Hemlock and Silver counts as horror. Some of her stuff has horror. Yeah, that one does count as horror. Friday Black. Yeah. I'm just gonna read a lot of books about rams and then get all the horns on the cover. No, go away. You're annoying. Okay. I don't think any of these had a red title, but I'll go back and check. World Builder. Fantasy, non-urban, interesting. Book with a map, graphic novel, comic, or manga. Oh, this one is such a small one. Interesting, especially if you're reading graphic novels. I feel like people could get through this in like a couple days. That's so fast. Okay. Alchemical pharmacologist. Leaf on the cover. Word alchemy in the title. Book published this year. I don't think any of these have been published this year. I don't tend to read like super current books, but Leaf on the cover I think should be pretty easy, to be honest. Like even Hemlock and Silver, lots of leaves, like, yeah. So I think this one would be actually really easy to chip away at. I don't know how to say this. Justiciar? Mystery thriller magnifying glass on the cover. I don't know if any of these count. I'm not really in a mystery thriller mood. Master of the Conduits. Okay. Bows, staffs, tridents, crystals, orbs, feathers, books, weapons, bones, polearms. So, this one will be very easy, I think. Arch librarian. Read a tome. Over 600 pages. Or entire series start to finish. I think that one would be hard, the entire series start to finish, without intentionality. But over 600 pages, I mean, I could just start chipping away. And Dracologist. Dragon on the cover in the title. Fire on the cover in the title. Word fly in the title. Word sky on the title. I don't know if any of these had fire. Maybe Hunger Makes the Wolf or the Fire, or Behind the Throne might. But I'm also actually rereading. Yeah, this one has fire. And I'm actually rereading the Enchanted Forest Chronicles right now, and all of those have dragon in the title. Oh yeah, this one had stars. Yeah, I don't think I would count anything there as fire. But I think Princess Furball has fire on the cover. Yeah, look at that fire in the back. Okay. But the Enchanted Forest Chronicles and each of them have dragon in the title, so if I read one of those next month, that would count. So anyway, I'm feeling pretty good that I could make progress on most of these next month and just like really slowly chip away at them, which is silly. Like, I know I could like specifically choose books to chip at them, to like focus on them or whatever, and that the point is not to do all of them at once, but also the point is not to do all of the prompts, and the point is not to do all the prompts for the autumn equinox every year and stuff, and I just like doing all the prompts. And you know what I did last year, because I didn't finish the autumn equinox? I ran out of time. I didn't end up getting to do it, so like I filled my prompt for this one for my O and my D, but I didn't end up doing this one. so this one didn't count at all for my Q, so the D didn't count. So when I still wanted to be able to turn stuff in though and make it count for the page total and stuff to help everyone out with like unlocking stuff and boosting the thing. And so I went through and I moved stuff around. Not sure where. I think this might have been it. Or maybe I think this was it. So the books that I did finish, I went through and I kind of moved which books what prompts they fit into. So that what was that example I was just saying? Oh, Art of Illusion. So then Art of Illusion, instead I moved some books around, so then Art of Illusion, I actually got the first two and then didn't get the D, and then etc. And so then I still was able to fill in a bunch of the books, and this is probably like one of the worst years I've done for Magical Readathon, but I mean I definitely still fulfilled a lot of books. Like half the prompts. Anyway, but it's just more fun for me to try to fill them all. But I ended up having to move a bunch of them around at the end because I made as many of them fit and work as possible and still was able to turn in the pages while still like following the rules and qualifying and stuff. So that's how I made it work last time. And then I was able to help people out, but it means I didn't turn them in until the very end, the last like day or two of the readathon. So I'm just gonna do what I can this year. I'll try, and sorry about that. I'll try to hit as many prompts as I can. I'll start crossing off what I can of these. I think I'm literally gonna go to the library and print out as many as there are of the callings and just start like filling them out and keep track of it and stuff, and it will add like a fun extra level because I don't actually specifically aim for a specific calling. I just do all of it because that is the most fun for me because I'm just silly. I don't know why my brain is that way, but anyway, I think that's all I'm gonna do for today. I think I'm gonna head off and actually go eat some dinner now because it's 7:30 and I'm getting quite hungry. But I appreciate you hanging out with me, and I also really appreciate all the recommendations, specifically Elizabeth. That was very helpful, and I'm glad I'm not having to go hunt down more recommendations after that. Let's see. And the goal for the week is just to read lots and lots of books about trans people and by trans authors, donate to Trans Lifeline, and then once April starts is just to dig in and start marking off as many of these prompts as possible. Okay. I don't know if your thing is delayed, so I was just waiting and seeing if you had anything to say or not. Okay. Alright. But I'm gonna call it here. I appreciate you hanging out with me, and I'll try to be back on in the next few weeks. And take care. I hope you're reading as well. I hope life is treating you well, and keep fighting for people who are being abused by our horrific government. All right, love you all. I appreciate you. Bye.